It is 4 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the roll call, please.
Mayor Sue Patterson,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Warren Dickert,
Present.
Councillor Harold Fleet,
Present.
Councillor Dave Hawking,
Present.
Councillor Carol Hudson,
Present.
Councillor Brandon Cable,
Present.
Councillor Susan Sackle.
Present.
Thank you, Vicky. All members are present and accounted for. The land acknowledgement. As we work toward reconciliation with Indigenous people, we begin our meeting today by respectfully acknowledging that we are situated on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, the people of Three Fires known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. And further give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, now known as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as the traditional keepers of this land. Welcome to our Committee of the Whole meeting for Monday, March the 3rd, 2025. Good afternoon, Council, staff, guests, the viewing public, and the media. Council, does anyone have a disclosure of pecuniary interest or a conflict of interest? As always, if one should occur during the meeting, you may declare it then. Item 4 is agenda additions or deletions, which we do not have any. So we'll move on to our health and safety message. This message demonstrates the town's commitment to safety to staff and our residents. It is intended to raise awareness of potential risks, promote safe practices, and help prevent injuries, illnesses, and fatalities. Our message this afternoon is brought to us by Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship. Our health and safety message for today is on cardiac arrest and heart attacks. Cardiac arrest and heart attack are not the same thing and often get confused. Both are medical emergencies. What does it look like? Cardiac arrest may include a sudden collapse, loss of consciousness, unresponsive to touch or sound, not breathing normally, making gasping sounds or not breathing, heart palpitations, or lack of pulse. A heart attack may look like chest or upper body discomfort, including pain in back or shoulders, generally conscious, sweating, nausea, fatigue, dizziness, or lightheadedness, shortness of breath. A heart attack can lead to cardiac arrest if severe. What to do? If you're experiencing cardiac arrest, call 911 and shout for an AED. Start CPR right away. Use the AED as soon as possible. If experiencing a heart attack, call 911. Stop all activity. Sit or lie down. Chew aspirin if you have it. And nitroglycerin, take that if you have it as well.
Thank you, Councillor Cable. Item 6 is delegations, and our delegation for this afternoon has been deferred to our next meeting if it works out. Item 7, we do not have any business arising from the minutes. So we'll move right into staff reports. We have 8.1. This is report ED 0325. The subject is the electric vehicle charging station host agreement. It's from April Marshall, our economic development manager, and I need a mover and seconder to put this on the floor. And I have Councillor Sackle and Councillor Fleet. April?
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is a follow-up report. Previous reports in regards to installation of an EV electric vehicle charging stations are in regards to ED 0824, 0924, and 1224. So essentially we have evolved. We applied for funding, but we had to have matching funds. So at that point, we decided to pursue being introduced to a private organization that would essentially do the installation for us. And we would work out an agreement to host that electric vehicle charging station. And that is what brings us here tonight. So the partners are the RTO 7, which is the Regional Tourism Organization 7, the Go EV funding program, and Swift Charge, which is also which do business as eGrid Systems Inc. So for the discussion, we've included a copy of the agreement as per the negotiations that we have entered with Swift Charge. And essentially, what we're doing is we're saying that we would like to install a level 3 fast charger unit on 11th Avenue, which is the east side of Heritage Square. And that would be on-street parking for that. Again, that would be a dual charger, so we would need 2 on-street parking spots for that. This is contingent on Swift being able to secure funding through the RTO 7, which they have been able to achieve. Swift commits to maintaining the electric vehicle charging station to be working at least 95% of the time, basically ensuring that if there's any issues, that they would be promptly addressing those. They would install the power upgrade. They would put it on a separate meter, and they would be solely responsible for the power going to that unit. And they would work on promoting that for us through different mapping platforms. And they would also speak to us if they wanted to install any additional lighting or cameras. So these points highlight the unique aspects of the agreement that essentially go above and beyond a standard contractual agreement. So it's basically ensuring both parties' interests are protected, and while promoting the successful implementation and operation of an electric vehicle charging station in Hanover. We were provided 2 references for the startup company, which are based out of Alberta. And so we were given a reference through the University of Alberta and the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. And they both had very good responses to the questions asked. They've had no issues. The response rate by Swift Charge has been very effective, and they had no issues to report. As far as financial implications go, just want to reiterate that this will not be a hard cost immediate for the installation of this level 3 unit. Swift Charge would be again responsible for all the electrical upgrades. That it would be on a separate meter. They're paying for the unit. They're asking us to provide and maintain this parking spaces essentially. So as far as financial implications go, we have spent about approximately $2,500 to get a legal consultation on the agreement to ensure our interests are protected. But apart from that, it won't cost us any money. We do want to, however, communicate that we foresee if any expenses are to come for maintaining the site, it is painting on-street parking to display where those parking spaces are and that they are for electric vehicle charging stations. And we also learned a lot this winter. So we have noted not only for this unit, but for our other existing units that we do need to consider snow removal around those units for good accessibility moving forward. But we would take a look at that next season, and it would be dependent on the weather that we receive during those winter months. But in exchange for that, Swift is going to, they are going to allocate 10% of the net revenue back towards us for hosting. I am not sure what that revenue will look like right now. I have asked for some projections, but I don't have them yet. But I would like to note with the level 2s, we just know they're not huge revenue generators. This is more for giving confidence to the electric vehicle charging family or people that have those vehicles that they can come to Hanover and feel secure that they're going to be able to charge and that unit is available to them, and hopefully therefore attracting them to our downtown to spend money in our local economy. And of course, it's green. It's a green initiative as well. But as mentioned, they would get some funding from the RTO 7 to assist them with that installation. And that is what makes this project viable for them. So the link to the strategic plan go with goal 1, safe and reliable infrastructure. Goal 2 healthy and welcoming community, and goal 3, strong and vibrant economy. And the recommendation is that report ED 0325 electric vehicle charging station host agreement be received, and that council approve the attached agreement between the town of Hanover and eGrid Systems, Inc., doing business as Swift Charge, and that the CAO be authorized to sign the agreement on behalf of the town of Hanover. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, April. Any questions? Councillor Sackel, then Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, April, for your report. I'm very pleased with what I see in the agreement and the contract with the company. I'm wondering, I have a few little questions. First of all, when are you hoping that this might be installed if council approves this?
Through your worship, it is the full intent to have this installed by June. That is a target for the RT07, and that is what they're working towards fulfilling.
Number two, I'm wondering if a car was brought in, it was at almost empty in terms of a charge, how long would it take with this 3?
I believe with the fast chargers, it's up to an hour, because it's the level 2s are the ones that take 2 to 4 hours.
One more. Thank you, Your Worship. If I had my vehicle parked there and I left it too long, I was downtown having a wonderful meal and the time got away from me, I realized there's going to be an idling fee. So that's good. I don't know how much that fee is, but can a driver even do anything if they want to use that charger and somebody else's car is there? I don't see how they can do that, but let me know.
I will say that through bylaw enforcement, we've noted that if we're doing parking review, that is those are places that we should be reviewing as well. But yes, they are essentially as they're plugged in, they are being charged. So it would be on the owner of the vehicle to ensure that they're aware of when their charge is done and to please move the vehicle, and signage will give those instructions as well.
Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was pleased to see there's a initial 5-year term. So when that term is up, will we go back and go through all the terms and agreements again? And if so, is that another 5-year or will it be yearly after that?
I would assume that and I will double check to confirm, but I don't want to assume anything, but it'll be a renewal, right? So, and at that time, I guess we'll need to take into consideration what the terms are, but I anticipate that it would continue on 5-year terms. But I will definitely confirm that.
Sherry.
I'm just going to add to that. Typically with our agreements that exist similar to this one, the standard of practice, like our practice has been that the existing terms will continue unless there's identified any terms that need further clarification, review, or what have you. And typically then the agreement terms can anywhere from 3 to 5 years has been our range for any renewing agreements as such. So that's kind of with any of our agreements across the corporation.
Go ahead, Councillor Hudson.
Sorry, just one other question. Will we be getting facts and figures from this company saying how much use it's getting, times of use, days, that sort of thing? So we have something to go on if in fact 5 years down the road, we need to add something else or switch out some of our existing ones.
Thank you, Councillor Hudson. I anticipate that reporting will come through the revenue sharing because they will have to report to us the amount it's used as per the revenue sharing model. But that's another great question that I will confirm that we get that information.
Okay. Any other? Councillor Fleet.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, April. Just a question on the parking that's on the east side of Heritage Square and 11th. And I'm just wondering if this isn't the time we look at, there's no actual painted parking spots. And I've heard people that live at the condo ask different times when there's different events at Heritage Square going on, why we don't have painted lines for parking all the way down to or Heritage Square. And I just wonder if this isn't the time we look at, having parking spaces all the way from the condos right down to the corner at Heritage Square.
So the intent is that these parking spaces would be delineated with parking markings? Huh, that rhymes. I just realized that. I'm a poet and I don't know it. Anyways, with the markings for parking, we can assess for the condos. I'd have to look, is it, like we have parking all the way down there? And given that we now have those other units, if I can call that, in that area, I'm just wondering if some of that parking is a little less accordingly, but we can look at that. Is there actual parking spaces and the cost to the added cost to do that? But these spaces specifically between 10th Street and 11th Street would be delineated accordingly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's an opportunity for us to look at parking right down to the 10th, I guess it is. Just, a chance now to maybe put those parking places into place. I just know there are a few by the condos. I know when there's the event going on at Heritage Square, like our market, there's a lot of parking along there with no actual markings. So I just wonder if it's a chance to do that. Thank you.
Any further comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of report ED 0325. Councillor Cable, I'm going to say you're in favor.
Yes, in favor.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, item 9, the first one, 9.1, we're on page 28. This is a request, this is correspondence requiring action. It's a request from Wayne Burrow, and he states that we are gearing up for National Donor Awareness Month and Week in April. He's asking for permission to fly the Be a Donor flag on the community flagpole from April 20th to the 26th. And this is National Organ and Tissue Donor Awareness Week. Also asking council to proclaim the month of April as Organ and Tissue and Blood Donation Month. And he says, we would love to have the green lights on during the awareness week, if available at the flagpole or the civic center. Green signifies hope. So I do have a motion here that Vicky has kindly prepared. And I do want to say that if you are going to be a donor, you need to register online at beadonor.ca. No longer is. Remember when you used to sign the back of your license? Well, it's not there anymore. You need to register online. So the motion is that the Council of the Town of Hanover proclaim the month of April 2025 as Organ and Tissue and Blood Donation Month in the Town of Hanover. That the Be a Donor flag be flown at the Civic Center from April 20th to April 26th in recognition of National Organ and Tissue Donor Awareness Week, and that the Civic Center be lit in green for the week of April 20th to 26th. So I need a mover and seconder for that. Deputy Mayor Dickert and Councillor Hocking. Any other comments or questions? Councillor Sacco.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to confirm, are we able to do the green lights? I know we had concerns previously.
So we have a new lighting system as of, I don't know, fall 2024 that allows us to adjust the lighting to colors, and it's all through phone and apps and all that type of stuff. So yes is the short answer.
Very good. All right, all in favor? That is carried. Councillor Cable, in favor?
Yes, in favor.
Thank you. Item 10 is reports and correspondence for information. 10.1 is correspondence from Brockton. They are sending us their resolutions saying provides further direction to staff regarding the Saugeen Municipal Airport, and they want to proceed with option 2 and renegotiate the agreement, as in the 2 letters that were sent from Westgray and Hanover that we are not in favor of selling the airport. So it just says we look forward to continuing discussions on the future of the Saugeen Municipal Airport. And as this is for information, we don't need to vote on it. And as discussion was initiated by Brockton, we will await their direction to determine the meeting dates and times. Okay, Councillor Hocking.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just for council's information, that agreement needs to be reviewed because the last time was 2012 and we're supposed to do it every 5 years. So really it's redundant what they're saying to renegotiate. I would be interested in getting council's take on who does the review. Does the commission do the review since it's it's part of our corporation, or do we set up a separate subcommittee consisting of members of council, CAO, et cetera, et cetera? If I could give you my opinion, which I am, I think it would be prudent for the commission, the 3 appointees to go through it originally as a draft and then present it to councils for their take. It seems to me it would be a bit onerous for a large committee to looking at that, but that's just my take. I'd be willing to do whatever council decides. But as you said, it's just for information. We'll wait for Brockton's reply.
Gary, you have a comment?
Just, I think Councillor Hocking, what we have to remember is this is an agreement between Westgray, Hanover, and Brockton. So therefore, sure, we may get input from the commission, and the commission reps specifically, but again, I think it needs to be corporately an agreement between the 3 parties as such. So, yeah.
That was my take. We do the legwork for you and bring us suggestions, and you can do whatever you want with
And
those
right, and
suggestions.
it would specifically be the appointed council reps to the commission as such, right? Previously, I know in 2021 or 2022, when this was initiated but not completed, the mayors and the CAOs were also involved at that time.
Okay, moving on, 10.2, this is the Saugeen Municipal Airport Commission meeting minutes from February 19th. Councillor Hocking.
Thank you, Your Worship. We've got some exciting things in the works. Whether they come to fruition is I'm very hopeful. I'd like to highlight economic development presentation. Steve Furness and Luigi Presta made presentations to all 3 councils. So all 3 councils have received the same message. Steve Furness provided us an update on the potential development of the airport. And those councillors who attended the workshop in Owen Sound heard loud and clear, if you want to get anything done or accepted, you need to be shovel ready. We are in the process of applying to Infrastructure / Investment Ontario. Before we do that, we need to come up with a memorandum of understanding where all 3 municipalities and the commission approve that memorandum of understanding. I want to reiterate that this memorandum of understanding is no cost to the municipality. This is just a process that we go through saying we approve or we support the airport in their endeavors to become a hub for economic development in the region. So stay tuned for that. Number B, the COPA Friends of the Saugee Minnesota Airport held their executive meeting, and they've got a sort of a change in leadership with Barry Shearhart elected as captain and Jack Sintra as secretary, and Victor Denali, who is also a commissioner on the airport, is treasurer. Presentation from April. April attended our meeting and she presented an opportunity for the commission to partake in the Barns to Beaches music tour. And we have tentatively submitted a date of July the 26th. And I'm in the process of touching base with service clubs in the area to partner with us. This would be a open air event on July the 26th. It would be staged in the afternoon because we want the ability for children to be able to attend. Hopefully it would be a big event for us. So it will take lots of planning, and stay tuned. Our general meeting will be conducted after we receive the audit report. The Landing Gear Diner wants to apply for a liquor license. That would be as the restaurant who pays us a rental fee. We went into closed session, and we ended that at 2:20. We adjourned the meeting at 2:26. I've also asked Catherine, our manager, or sorry, our secretary, to include our manager's report because there's some neat stats there. Just for your information, Tim had to go in the middle of a snowstorm to clear out the runway so Orange could land. So there's another example of the need for medical assistance. The landing gear is, I've always mentioned that. Our rentals seems to be increasing. A Villard Construction Group rented the entire facility for 2 weeks for their training. I drove over there one morning and the parking lot was filled with cars. So it was very nice to see, and they enjoyed the facility, and of course they all used our restaurant too, which is a win-win. Bruce County rented our boardroom for several days for training. Snowmobilers will notice that we put signage on the snowmobile trail that the restaurant is available, and that has paid dividends too. And we are increasing our fuel tank from a 10,000 liter to a 35,000 liter tank. And that was all through the ingenuity of our airport manager, who saw it on the system. The airport pilots, they trucked it up at no charge. They refinished it. So that should take place in spring. And what that allows us to do is be more competitive with fuel prices because we can buy a greater volume. So I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Councillor Hocking. Are there any questions? Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just regarding the landing gear liquor license, would the airport in fact be the ones holding the license on that, since it's their facility?
Thanks. What would you do without me? No, it's landing gear. She has the same setup up in the Wyerton Airport, and she makes application. She pays for it. It's her responsibility.
So then if someone were to rent out the facility, the landing gear people would need to be there in order to serve liquor.
Exactly. Right now, they have to get a daily permit. It's a bit awkward, but she could run everything through that. And yeah, she's asked for it because she has the same setup up in Wyerton, and we're okay with it. Thank you.
Other comments or questions? Okay, moving on, 10.3, the Saugeen Mobility and Regional Transit Minutes, Deputy Mayor Dickert.
Thank you, Your Worship. One of our shorter meetings that we elected our board chair for 2025, and it was Kim Hutchin, the deputy mayor for Brockton. We continue with our search for a recording secretary, and we spent time planning our delegation at the upcoming Roma conference. We also had some discussion on the alternate funding scenarios that some municipalities have requested. That being Chatsworth, Kincardine has requested expanded service. So those two issues that we're dealing with. And just for this council's sake, if there were any requests that you wanted us to pursue, that would have to come through this council meeting as a request and a staff report. So at this point in time, Hanover is status quo with the situation there. And if there was any requested change, that would again have to come through this council. So as I said, it was one of our shorter meetings, and that's about all I can report. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any hands raised, so we'll move on. 10.4 is the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority meeting minutes. It was also the annual general meeting held on January 17th. The chair presented a review of the past year, which is always good to see what's been achieved in a year. Elections were held, and Tom Hutchison, he is the deputy mayor of West Grey, is the new chair, and Paul Allen, a councillor in Grey Highlands, was elected vice chair. And just as note, repairs to the administration building have been completed and staff have returned to working in the office. And you may remember that the building was damaged following a lightning strike back in October. So staff are very happy to be back in their offices. The 2025 budget was approved and Baker Tilly was appointed as the authority's auditor for 2025. And open to questions if anyone has any. Seeing none, item 10.5, this is correspondence or actually comments from the town of Saugeen Shores on the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority Policies Manual. And moving on, item 11 is planning and other meetings. And of course, all of our meetings are listed on this agenda and our website. Oh. It's skipping. Grey County highlights, because I know you want to hear about it, because it's very good. No, actually, this was good. This was, you know, some of the meetings are a little longer. This was good, and there was some interesting things happening. So Grey County met on February 27th. And we received a verbal update from Savannah Myers, who is the Director of Economic Development, Tourism and Culture, about the 2025 Regional Job Fair. It was held on February 20th and attracted 600 job seekers. So she did state that 64 employers participated and were pleased with the people who attended, as each employer received at least 12 resumes with skills for what they were looking for. Savannah said this is an indication that there is a shift in the market and it is easier to recruit for skilled workers, which is good to hear. So then we also had a verbal update on the Gather campaign, and that's GATHER, Gather campaign, which was launched earlier this month, or as in February. Gather is a celebration of local food and producers, starring culinary ambassador and celebrity chef Roger Mookie. The campaign and video series can be viewed at gatheringrey.ca. And I do recommend, if you have time, to watch all the videos, but particularly the one titled The Gate and Spring Hills, because that's Spring Hills Trout Farm, and it features RJ and Arlen Taylor, and they do an excellent job on the video. So they're all very good. And a lot of things that you don't know that are in Grey, like right in our backyard. So it was good. Grey County is working with the municipality of Grey Highlands to acquire land in Feversham for a new paramedic services base. A base is needed in the area to enhance response times and meet the increased and projected volume of calls for service. And council received an update on the progress of the local licensed childcare growth plan. And just for note, with some statistics, at the end of 2024, more than 2,000 children under the age of 6 remain on the wait lists for local childcare operators. It was a good meeting. Thanks, Vicky. Okay, and I don't see any questions, hands raised. Item 11, planning and other meetings. All of our meetings are listed on this agenda and of course on our website. Dates to remember and announcements. The next committee of the whole meeting is April 7th at 4 p.m. The next regular council meeting is March 17th at 4 p.m. I'll ask at this time if there's any notices of motion. Seeing none, we do have a closed meeting. And it's been recommended that the council.
Dave, do you have a notice of motion?
No, I don't have a notice of motion, but I just wanted to inform.
Mike.
Mike.
I'm gonna put a big picture.
We're gonna call you Mike.
I apologize. I just wanted to inform the public that the airport meeting on March the 19th has been canceled. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. So we do have a closed meeting, and it is recommended that the council of the town of Hanover meet in closed session in order to consider a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board, which, if disclosed, could reasonably be expected to prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations of a person, group of persons, or organization in relation to Westario Incorporated shareholder direction. I need a mover and seconder to go into closed. Councillor Hocking and Councillor Fleet, all in favor? That is carried. We'll just take a minute.